I want first of all to express my very deep gratitude and appreciation to the government and the people of Serbia. Serbia has been facing the refugee crisis doing all the right things. Serbia has shown a compassion, a solidarity, but also a wisdom in the very humane way as Serbia has handled this huge challenge that the country has faced. And I have to say that Serbia has given a lesson. Even if Serbia is not yet a member of the European Union, it has given a lesson to some of the members of the Union for the exemplary way in which Serbia has been managing this crisis. And I want to express to the Prime Minister our very, very deep appreciation and our admiration and gratitude. This is a moment, this is a moment of great concern to us all. We are approaching winter. Today is a sunny day. It's not cold, but let's not forget that in a few days people will be here with cold weather, with rain or snow, and we are totally engaged in supporting the Serbian government in creating the conditions for winter to be faced by the refugees and migrants that cross Serbia in a way in which they will be able to do it without suffering too much. We are very appreciative of the effort that the Serbian government is doing in order to create some capacity for receiving people for a short period in order to allow for them to cope with the challenge of winter. And we, together with all our partners, and I also want to thank them, will be doing everything we can to support the Serbian government in order to make sure that winter will be faced without any humanitarian tragedy in the harsh climate that we have in this region. I presume that many of you would like to ask me also our reaction in relation to the fact that one of the passports found in Paris was also a passport detected here. First, I want to express my shock and horror for the terrible events in Paris. Not only in Paris, in Beirut, if the plane was also, as apparently it was, victim of a bomb, the Russian plane. We are witnessing a dramatic succession of terrorist attacks in different parts of the world that are causing tremendous pain and tremendous suffering to innocent people and must be condemned with all our commitment. But it is also important to say that it was not the refugee movement that created terrorism. It is terrorism together with tyranny, together with war, that have created refugee movements. There was very probably one person that passed here and was part of this terrorist operation. But there are every day 5,000 to 7,000 people here, women, children, fleeing violence. It would be totally unfair to blame refugees for what is today the development of terrorist activities in the world. It is obvious that terrorist groups will try to penetrate not only movements of refugees, but they are trying to penetrate our societies. And we see that in many parts of the world and in many parts of Europe. We see fighters going from different European countries going to fight in Syria, in Libya. This is a very complex security question. And of course, we are very much interested in making sure that from the point of view of refugee policy, all security measures are also taken. I was very appreciative to see the efforts made by the Serbian government in order to have registration, fingerprinting and control in relation to the population that is now crossing. And we have been insisting since the beginning that it is essential to have more legal forms for refugees to come to Europe, in order to have proper screening, proper identification, security checks, which are much more easy to do if things are done legally. And we have also been insisting for the need of Europe to be united and to create the conditions for a massive reception capacity at entry point where everybody can be screened, can be identified, security checks can take place, and then people can be distributed orderly. Ideally, distributed to all European countries with a fair share of distribution. If that would have been done, and we are still on time to build it, we would avoid this situation in which there is a disorder movement that facilitates potential infiltrations. But let's be very clear. We cannot blame the refugees. Refugees are the first victims of terror. And I think that the strategy of Daesh is exactly to create an environment of fear, to make European countries close their borders to Syrian refugees, and also to divide our societies, to put citizen against citizen in a community, community against community in a country, country against country within the European Union. And it is absolutely essential to be able to respond to this attempt, saying clearly that we are not intimidated by terrorism, and saying clearly that the values that are our values, we will not lose them because of the fear of terrorism. I do believe that it is absolutely essential in a moment like this to be united. I believe in a moment like this we need to make everything possible for the propaganda of those that launch terrorist activities to be fought effectively. Nothing would help more the propaganda of Daesh than to see a Europe closing borders to Syrian refugees. Nothing would help more the propaganda of Daesh than to see hatred expressions in Europe against innocent Muslims that are coming to Europe together with Christians, together with Yazidis, together with all other religions, fleeing the terrorism and the persecution in Syria and in other countries. So we are totally committed to cooperate with governments in order for the security measures that are needed to be adopted, but at the same time it is very important that we do not lose the values that are the reason why we are European citizens. The day we would lose our values, we would lose the battle against terrorism. We cannot help the terrorists use in their propaganda the interest they have in trying to penetrate our societies, to recruit within our societies. We cannot give them those pretexts. We need to be firm in our fight against terror.